I recently got a government job in Canada, and this is my third job in Canada. So in this 3 years, I have gained some experience, and during pandemic as well, so many things have changed. So I'm going to share all my experience in this video. So watch this video till the end. If you're watching the video and you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we publish new video. So as you know, due to this pandemic, so many people lost their jobs, and there are so many people who have got job because of this pandemic, because so many companies are moving to digital now. You must have seen so many businesses are moving to digital. They are developing their online web portals, they are getting their mobile apps ready. Similarly, there are so many companies who are moving online as well, and because of that, there have been some jobs which are being created, especially in IT, digital, and other industries. Of course, things have changed. There are less jobs as compared to last year. It is not a normal situation, but still there is a ray of hope. If you are prepared with all your skills, resume, all your networking skills, then it might not be very difficult to get a job. So I have categorized all these tricks in 6 categories. So let's start with first category, which is networking. Yes, that is very important. You must have heard 100 times that how much networking is important in Canada, especially to get a job. So I'm going to share some tricks about networking. You must have checked our old videos, how much we emphasize on networking, and 85% of the people in Canada get job via reference and networking. So you can understand how important it is, especially in pandemic, because you know that people have been meeting over a coffee, going on face-to-face meetings, but now everyone is doing virtual coffee meets, virtual meetings, let's say 15 minutes face-to-face meeting. So it is very good thing for the people who were not very comfortable meeting people face-to-face, going on a coffee meetings, and they are more comfortable online. So right now everyone is doing online meetings, online virtual meetups, online coffee meets. So that's some advantage for the shy people, I would say, who were not very comfortable going on a face-to-face meeting. One thing I would like to emphasize, that if you're looking for a job, if you don't have a job, especially in Canada, if you're coming to Canada for the first time, if you're searching for your first job in Canada, you have to be little flexible about the job title, about the job role as well. So let's say you were a director in your home country and you were managing an analytics team. Here in Canada, you might not get the same role, you might not get the same title, so you have to be little flexible about that. Why I'm saying that? Because what some people do in Canada, for few months they specifically look for those kind of titles and roles that they were in their home country, and that might be little difficult because you don't have a job and you're searching for a specific role. It is very cutthroat competition. You will hear this a lot if you're looking for a job in Canada. So hundreds of people are applying for the same title, same job. It might be little difficult. So to get a first job in Canada, I would recommend that you have to compromise on the title and the job role as well. So it is not necessary that you're networking with only people who are from analytics background and you want to get job in an analytics team. So don't do that. And networking is a continuous habit. So it is not that you are doing networking only when you need a job, and that will become very evident to the person you're talking to. So make it very organic, very natural, that you're talking to the person not to get a job, but to know about him, to know more about the company. And you are not making it only about you are building a professional network, you are building a professional relation, and you are being in touch, let's say every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if there will be any opportunity, obviously then you can approach that person. Let me give you one example. So let's say you have a job opening in your company and 2 people approached you. One person who never talked to you, he was there in your LinkedIn connections from 5 years, never contacted you, never commented on your post, never talked to you casually. And the other person who was in your touch, let's say he was messaging you every month, you were going on casual meetings every 2 months. Who will you recommend for that job? A person who you know more about, or a stranger person who never talked to you? So that is what happens if you're networking to the person. Make it a regular activity, regular catch-ups, comment on their post, make it very organic and natural. Now, when we are talking about networking, there is one application that will come in your mind. That's LinkedIn. Exactly. So LinkedIn has changed in past 2-3 years, as you have noticed, but it has become the best professional networking portal. And if you know how to utilize it, you can get your dream job via LinkedIn, because I have noticed so many people have got job from LinkedIn without even going to Indeed, Monster, or any other job portal. So LinkedIn is the best social network to find a job, to network, to get a job, as per me. Now, what you need to do on LinkedIn, what are the best practices? You need to build your online brand, especially on LinkedIn, because that's a professional networking website. So what you need to make sure is that you have a professional picture. You don't have a picture in Shah Rukh Khan pose or on a bike or in a swimming costume. You have to have a professional picture. Now, I'm not recommending that you're going for a professional photo shoot and then uploading those pictures. You can have a very clear background, have a picture click with a good mobile phone, and that will suffice. So you should have a professional picture, have a smile on your face. That's very important. And you should be in obviously business casual or business professional attire. Now, there is an option in LinkedIn by which you can tell the recruiters and companies that you are open for opportunities. So whenever you are looking for a job, make sure that you are enabling that option. And another thing is that you don't have to worry about your company, that they will come to know that you are looking for a job. There is an option by which you can hide that from your current company and other company if you want. So you can filter some of the company, they will not be able to see that option enabled. Now, when recruiters will search for some candidates, obviously they will look for that option if that open to opportunity option is enabled for you or not, and they will search for specific profiles. Let's say they are searching for project manager. So if you don't have project manager in the headline of your LinkedIn profile, your profile might not show up. So to increase the chances of your profile to show up in the search results of the recruiters, make sure that title is there in the headline as a product manager, project manager, or business analyst. So example can be worked in McKinsey for 3 years as a business analyst. So that role should be there in the headline. That's very important. Now, your experience on LinkedIn profile should be there. It should not be blank. It should have work experience, because when recruiter will search your profile, they will open your profile. They want to see what projects you have worked on, what experience do you have. If your work experience is only title and company, the dates, they might ignore it. So that's very important if you want to make your LinkedIn profile very professional. Other thing is skills and experience, projects, mention that, and get recommendation from your leadership, from your managers, from previous company, because there is no harm asking for it if that is natural and organic. Let's say you have worked with some leaders, some managers in your company, and they were very appreciating of the things that you have done on a specific project or maybe in the team. So they were sending you appreciation emails and they were praising you for your work. There is no harm asking for recommendation on LinkedIn from those managers and leaders. But at the same time, you should not be asking for recommendation from everyone with whom you have never even worked with. So the recommendation should be very natural and organic. Ask from the people you have worked with and they want to say some good things about you. That will increase the credibility of your professional LinkedIn profile. Another thing you can do is you can go for LinkedIn premium membership. That adds a lot of value to your profile. 1 month it's free. I think after that it's $10 to $15. So it's not very costly. Go for it till the time you're looking for a job, and maybe after that you can disable it, but it helps a lot. You get to email the recruiters, you get to see a lot of insights about the company, about the job roles, about salary packages. So that helps a lot. And at last, I just want to say LinkedIn is not Facebook. So consider LinkedIn as a professional social network and should not be posting pictures of your dog, should not be posting articles which are not very professional, should not be posting any meme or something which is not adding any value, because as I mentioned, you are building your brand on LinkedIn. So I have seen people, they have built their LinkedIn brand so well that whenever they will be looking for a job, they just have to post that on LinkedIn. And so many people would like to hire that person in their company, because let's say he or she has such a big network on LinkedIn. He has been sharing some good information on their LinkedIn profile, maybe stories, some short videos. They have built their brand. So everyone remembers his or her name because they made a brand. They might be posting a lot of good information, might be engaging in comment section, might be liking other people's posts, might be commenting on other people's posts. So consider that as a natural habit as you are doing on Facebook or maybe Instagram. It is as important on LinkedIn as well, that you are making continuous effort to build your professional brand. So everyone should remember your name in your connection, that this person is posting some relevant information, and it is very nice to have casual discussion with him. So if you have that, whenever you will ask for a 15 minutes virtual coffee with someone, they might not say no to you because they will also be interested in talking to you. And then maybe you can talk to them about their company, how you can learn from them, what is their role, and if there are any open position in their company. So even if there will not be any open position right now, maybe after 3 months, when there will be any openings, they will have your name in your mind and they will approach you instead of approaching someone else who have never talked to them. So this is the power of LinkedIn. So many people have got job because they have made their professional brand on LinkedIn. I'm not one of them, but whenever I get chance, I make sure that I'm replying to the messages, I'm interacting with other people who are there in my connections via commenting on their post or posting something. So can't emphasize more on LinkedIn. Just build your professional brand on LinkedIn. Now let's talk about resume. Obviously, when you're applying for jobs, you will need a professional resume. So in Canada, it is slightly different. So I'll share my experience. As I mentioned, cutthroat competition in Canada. For one job, you might see 500 people are applying for that job. Thousands of people even apply for some good roles. So obviously the HR or the hiring manager will not be going through all those resumes manually. So there is a system called ATS, Applicant Tracking System. Most of the company use that and they upload all the resumes in that system. 90% of the resumes get rejected from that system. So only 10% of the resume approximately reach to the hiring manager. So it is very important that you make your resume in a way that it goes through the application tracking system, ATS, because the CVs which are getting rejected from the ATS system, those applicants might be the right people for that job. But obviously if they are not getting chance to appear for the interview even, then there is no benefit. So that is why it is very important to make a ATS friendly resume. Now I will be sharing my experience and how you can do that. One tip, you can go to a website jobscan.co. You can upload your resume, you can upload the job description. It will match all the keywords which are there in the job description with your resume, and it will show you whether your resume is ATS friendly or not. There are other websites as well. I will give the link in the description. You can check that out. But it is very important to make your resume ATS friendly. One thing you can do, you can go to jobscan.ca and all those keywords. Another thing, you should be making a resume as per the job. So let's say you are applying for a project manager role and that is for an e-commerce project. So your resume should have some e-commerce project that you have worked on. If you're applying for a project manager job in a retail domain, then you should have some retail project that you have worked on. So it takes a lot of time to make job description specific resume. That is why you should have different types of resume for your role ready all the time. So let's say you should have one, I'm giving you one example, you should have one resume for project manager in e-commerce. If you are applying for so many e-com jobs, you should have another project manager resume for analytics kind of project. You should have another resume for project coordinator, because if you're not getting job for project manager role, obviously you will not be sitting at home. You can apply for a project coordinator job, right? Maybe after 6 months you can change the job instead of sitting home for 6 months. So as I mentioned that you should be flexible about the job role. If you're not getting a project manager job for 3 months, go for a project coordinator job, go for a business analyst job, right? Salary ranges might not be very different for a project coordinator and project manager. And why it is important to have domain specific resume? Because in job search, we say if you snooze, you lose. So I can give you one example. I got a call from recruiter and she asked for resume. And obviously I told her that I will make it relevant to the job description and it will take me 60 minutes. So within 30 minutes, someone else sent her the resume and she said that we already received 10 resume and maybe we will consider you for another role, another open position. So that is how much it is important. There is cutthroat competition. I'm telling you third time, but it is very important to have job specific resumes ready in your inbox to send it to the recruiter whenever you receive a call. They will not wait for 2 hours for you to make the resume as per the job description. So if you receive a call, they are asking for a resume, you should have it ready within 30 minutes. You should be sending your resume after adding all those keywords. So that's the importance of sending resume very early if you received a call. So when I received call for this government job that I'm working on right now, she told me that your CV can be as big as 25 page, because if you're applying for government jobs, your resume should have detail about all the projects that you have worked on in every company. So what I was trying to keep my resume to around 3 page, but she told me that even if your resume is 8 page long, 10 page long, I don't care, because if you're applying for government jobs, your resume can be 25 page or 30 pager as well if you have experience of, let's say, 15 years. So I'm not talking about government jobs now. So for private jobs as well, your CV can be as long as 4 pager, 5 pager if you have more than 6-7 years of experience. Why? Because you will be able to add a lot of keywords. You will be able to add a lot of projects. So that is what hiring managers prefer here, because 90% of the resumes will get rejected from the ATS system. Only 10% will reach to the hiring manager. And if he is able to read or she is able to read all the projects that you have worked on, all the skill set that you have, then it increases the chances of getting your resume shortlisted by the hiring manager as well. Now, in Canada, make your resume very simple, very plain, no formatting at all, very easy to read. Readability should be there, because here they prefer a traditional kind of resume. That's what my experience say from 3 years. I made some infographics in my resume like PDF format. It doesn't go through the ATS system, first of all. And if your resume is, let's say, 5 pager long, 6 pager long, you have included all your projects, readability should be there. What's the point if you have made your resume 7 pager long and it's not readable? There is so many tables, formatting, bold, italic, fonts are not readable. So make it very simple, very readable. It can be 5 pager, it can be 4 pager, but try to add as much information as you can in your resume for ATS and for the hiring manager. And I will recommend that use the MS Word format instead of PDF, because I have got a lot of feedback sometimes from the recruiters that they don't recommend PDF format. It is not very ATS friendly. So make your resume in MS Word format, make it simple and clean, sync it with your LinkedIn profiles. If you're mentioning that you were a product manager or project manager for past 3 years, then LinkedIn also should reflect the same, because the hiring manager, the recruiter will go on LinkedIn as well. If they will find some differences between your resume and LinkedIn profile, they might not consider you. And at last, do not apply for hundreds of jobs in the same company. So they have mechanism built in ATS. And if HR manager is getting your resume for 2 different positions and those roles are very different, then obviously it shows that you are just looking for a job and you're not looking for a job for your skill sets. And that says a lot. So only apply for the jobs which you are qualified for. Do not apply for all the 100 jobs. Apply for few jobs, but apply it very efficiently. Now, next topic is upskilling yourself. Again, I'm mentioning cutthroat competition. So you are competing with thousands of other people who are upskilling themselves every month. So everyone is sitting at home. Everyone has so much time, especially in Canada. If you're not upskilling yourself every year, you're not learning new technologies, you're not doing new certifications, you will be outdated. You will not be able to compete with other people who are doing those certifications, who are upskilling themselves. Because in Canada, skills will always be on top. In the interview as well, hiring manager will ask you a lot of technical questions, especially if you are applying for an IT job. And the good thing here in Canada is people who are there on the leadership level are also very technical. So they know the value of having a technical skill sets. That is why they will be able to hire someone who has more technical knowledge. And in the interview, you won't be able to fool them around because they are very technical. And as you are working from home, you have so much time. I will recommend you to go to Great Learning Academy to upskill yourself. They have free courses and free certificates on the topic that are in high demand in the industry today. Domains like data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud computing. You can share these certificates on your resume as well. That will add a lot of value in your resume. The content is top-notch quality as it is in the collaboration with universities like Stanford, Texas McComb University, etc. After you register for free, you don't just get access to high-quality courses, but also timely live interactive sessions. You don't need any official college ID to enroll. Anyone can enroll. Anyone who wants to learn can register for free and and enroll in any number of courses and start learning. So that's very good thing about it. It is also available on mobile app, so you can install the mobile app, you can learn on the go. Another amazing products that they have is about the job preparation. So if you are looking for a job preparation training kind of a thing, they have a separate product for that. All live job courses are free to enroll and register. Those are also free. So you can go on the portal, you can go to the class, you can register for online sessions. There are so many sessions to choose from. Let's say I'm talking about crash course on soft skills for interviews. Obviously, if you're preparing for an interview and you want to prepare for some soft skills questions, then maybe you can go for this session. And there will be some recorded sessions as well. Apart from the live sessions, you can watch some recorded videos as well. And they are categorized in two sections: aptitude preparation, where they have live courses which will cover data interpretation, logical reasoning, verbal reasoning, etc. And there will be soft skills preparation like resume building, interview FAQs, business storytelling, etiquettes, etc. And they offer some courses exclusively for college students as well. Free live classes specially designed to help students in their college subjects and job preparation. Free live classes on college subjects to help students in their preparation for internal and exams. Advantage of those online classes are live interactive classes, structured classes and schedule, access recording if you have missed any classes, previous year questions, sample paper questions as well. So I will definitely recommend that you enroll for some free courses. You're sitting at home, obviously you can take some 60 minutes out every day, go for those courses. And also if you're looking for job, go for some free job preparation courses as well, maybe some live session or some recorded session. Link is in the description, do check that out. Now fifth section, let's say you upskilled yourself, you made your resume very ATS friendly, you got shortlisted for the job, now you have an interview. Now in this pandemic, all the interviews are happening online. So you have to be very comfortable with the online interview. There are some disadvantages that obviously you will not be able to show your body language that much. You will be on the camera, you will be using the internet, you may be on the Zoom call. So there are few tips that you can use which will help you to have very smooth online interview. You need to test your internet connectivity. You should have a good mic, you should have a good camera. You need to make sure at the time of interview it is very quiet, there is no noise and they are able to hear you properly. You should have a test Zoom call with your friend just to test your audio quality, your camera quality, and you should have a mock interview as well just to be more confident. They can ask you some random questions from Google because you have to be comfortable with an online interview. It is little different from a physical interview. So you have to be very comfortable with that. Another thing you have to do before the interview is read about the company. Thoroughly read the job description because most of the question will be related to the job description. Another thing you can do is you can go on LinkedIn. If you find someone who is working in that company and that is in your connection, you are talking to that person, he's your friend maybe, or you're just casually having networking. This is the importance of networking. So then you can message them, you can talk to them casually that I have an interview, what kind of question can be there, which are company specific. They can share about the company role or what they look for in an employee, what kind of soft skill they are looking for, or maybe technical skills, what tool they are using. You can ask about the project or anything. It will give you a lot of confidence if you will be able to find someone from your connection who is in that company where you are appearing for an interview. And another thing which is happening during this pandemic is the number of rounds have been reduced. So earlier, you know that in Canada, we were going for 4 or 5 interviews, 2 or 3 maybe telephonic, then after that 2 or 3 face-to-face round. But now that has decreased to maybe 2 or 3 online interviews. So you will have maybe 2 Zoom calls, panel will be there, they will be asking you a lot of questions. It might be a 90 minutes long interview, but after maybe 1 or 2 Zoom interviews, you will get an offer letter if you get selected. So in this era of having online interviews, number of interview rounds have been decreased. Now, a lot of people have this question in their mind, does accent matter in Canada? So if you don't have neutral accent, you don't speak like native English speaker, does that matter? Short answer is no. If you want to see a long answer, if you want to see detailed video about that, that's there on the channel. Do check that out. It will answer a lot of query about this topic. At the end of the interview, most of the hiring manager will ask you a question and then you should have some question prepared for them. If you're not asking any question, then they might think that you are not serious about it. So at least you can ask one question about the job role, about the company, what is the future of that team or that project. You should have that question prepared for every job interview. Now, one suggestion from me is, if you are jobless, if you don't have a job and you're looking for a job, I will recommend that do not negotiate salary much, because during this pandemic, so many people are applying for single role and they are ready to join at as much salary as they are getting. So this is my preference. If I would be jobless and I'm getting some role in a company, I will not negotiate. It is up to you, but that is my recommendation. If you already have a job and then you think that you can negotiate little bit, then go for it. But if you don't have a job, I will not recommend that. Because especially on a contract job, if someone is asking for $55 per hour and other person is asking for $60 per hour, the recruiter from the agency will prefer someone who is asking for $55 per hour. At last, stay in touch with the HR, send a thank you note, stay in touch with them. So I can give you an example. I applied for a position that went on hold, but I kept in touch with that hiring manager after 3 months or maybe after 2 months. I was chatting to him on LinkedIn. After 6 months, when she had similar kind of role, she reached out to me directly. So that is the power of networking, and that is the power of keeping in touch naturally with some hiring managers and recruiters. Now you must be thinking that you are applying all these best practices, still you are not getting job in 3 months, 4 months. I just want to say that don't get demotivated. You're not alone. There is a difficult time going on. There is a pandemic going on. And obviously in Canada especially, the job market is very cold during this winter season. So maybe after December, January, the market will start opening up. Obviously the effect of the pandemic will be over as well. So next year, I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, it will not be like 2020. You will have more opportunities, but what you need to make sure is that you are staying positive, you are staying motivated, you're not getting depressed, and you're pulling yourself back from upskilling yourself. So continue to work on your mental health, continue to enhance your skills, go for a temporary job. Maybe if you're not getting your dream job, go for a temporary role, go for a freelance gig. You can go to upwork.com. If you have any skill, you can create your profile on upwork.com and then you can charge some dollars for every hour. There are thousands of jobs you can do. So if you're not getting a job, it doesn't mean that there is no way that you can earn some money in Canada. So I just pray that all of you apply these best practices and you get your dream job. Let me know in the comment section how you like the video, and you have any question. If I will be able to help you, I will try my best to help you. There are 5,000 connections on LinkedIn. If I will be able to respond to you on LinkedIn, I will try my best. You can add me on LinkedIn as well. Again, all the best. I hope you get your dream job. Press the like button if you like the video and comment down below. For these kind of amazing videos, you can subscribe the channel and press the bell icon as well. Till next time, stay safe and stick around.